Hi, I'm Michelle Tucker, and we're here to invite you to come to our women's retreat this summer, Women, Water, and Spirit in Mount Shasta, California. And I'm here with Misa Hopkins, our spiritual director, who will be leading our retreat. Misa, would you like to tell us about it?
Oh, I am so excited about this retreat, Michelle, for many, many reasons. But I think especially our discussions about what is it that we're feeling, we as women want to experience more of, right? And one of the things that's really coming up is the concept of women being in their power. And what does that mean as a woman? That being in our power is not exactly the same as what men do to be in their power, right? There are similar attributes, but the way that we get to it, the way that we access it, is our own unique path. So I'm loving this title that we have, is Awaken Your Unique Power as a Woman, and tapping into the feminine energetic cycles of creation to heal and manifest, because it is a profound way to access your real source of power, right? Rather than trying to take leadership models or masculine creation-based models and make them fit, right? What's so beautiful about the feminine-based creation cycles is that they're natural to you, right? It's the way we approach the world. And so now we're becoming conscious of that, right? We're going into this space of holding, to just be present to what is there. The same way that a woman invites a child into her womb and holds a child in her womb. So we go through this entire process of recognizing how we hold energy, how we invite energy, and then how life force manifests through the experiences that we have, through the energetic experiences of our bodies, through our emotions. How do we use emotions as a force of creation? How do we use intuitive guidance as a force of creation? How do we become that force of creation that's natural? You and I were talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like trying to be powerful. It doesn't work that way. Or I'm going to climb the ladder. It doesn't work that way for women. It just isn't it, right? It's not about positioning myself. It's not about competition or being better than. It's not any of that. For women, it's really about recognizing how you step into the center of your space so that nature is flowing through you. The power of who you are is flowing through you. And it's experienced by everyone around you. And it naturally attracts what it needs for its own becoming, for its own manifestation. It's powerful, it's rich, it's far more natural for us as women to step into creating in that way. And that's what we're going to be doing together. So I'm really excited about this retreat.
Well, the power of women coming together and holding that space for each other is very rich as well, because then when we are able to see each other and that divine force and spirit that lives within each other, and we share that, then we create even more from there. That's where we're co-creating. We're allowing ourselves to be ourselves, and we're shining in that. So
yeah,
that energy of women coming together to do that for each other, it's like it's way beyond what we can do individually alone. And you're going to be teaching us about the path, the women's path that you've discovered, the women's path of holding, of the creation meditation for prescriptions. Can you tell us about that just a little?
Yeah, this is really a path of awakening. We originally said enlightenment. In fact, you and I had a long discussion about that, because we originally called it a women's path to enlightenment. And then we realized, could we really call it enlightenment when it's about going into the yin energy of the womb, right? And the space from which the light of your true self emerges. Right? So it didn't feel right to call it a woman's path of enlightenment, but in many ways it is. And this path has been given to us by 4 native grandmothers on the other side of the veil who tapped me, who made sure that a beautiful medicine bowl was delivered to me. And as many of the women listening probably know, this is an ancient medicine bowl, well over 1,000 years old, where women gathered around this womb-shaped bowl to do ceremonies and to perfect this sense of how a woman sheds her limited body to become her limitless self. Limited meaning limited in terms of our thoughts, feelings, even our physicality, right? All of the ways in which we may constrain the nature of the divine expression or true expression of ourselves, that we systematically is a hard word, through these practices, we let those layers go. Just recognize them, love them, let them go, until all that's left is really that original intent that you came in with. And that's where you really are a force of nature, right? Because you are in complete alignment with your divine desire, and desire is one of the 4 prescriptions. So we work with holding, which is the first step in the creation meditation. Holding is the acknowledgement of the feminine as pure space. Limitless, unconditional love, like the womb of space above us, like the womb within us, like the womb of the mother. Limitlessly loving. Holding all potential for life without judgment, right? So we start there, and as we go deep, deep, deep into the silence of our being, we recognize that original intent. And it bursts forth in the second step of the creation meditation as the light of who we are. That is sacred masculine energy. That is the energy of blissful ecstasy that must become, that is overflowing in its generous expression of who it is. And so now there's this beautiful dance emerging between the light and the dark. Beautiful, beautiful dance. In the third part of the meditation, and this was originally taught to elders when they could no longer give birth to children, they were taught an energetic form of giving birth. And we'll all learn it at the retreat, where the seed of consciousness is held and loved through our bodies and spirits and energy centers to emerge, just like a newborn child, into becoming itself. And this is your I am, your conscious awareness of yourself in this moment as an I am expression. And that becomes the action that you nurture in the world. So you can see how the emergence of your true self is actually showing you the pathway to your acts of creation, what you will nurture to bring forward into reality in service of yourself and others. So that's the creation meditation. The 4 prescriptions are kind of layered into it. It's another way of approaching meditation. And this is what the women did when they got stuck. When they just didn't seem to be making any progress, they might sit with one of the elders or the guardian of the path of the sacred feminine and sit down with their native grandmother and say, I'm confused. I can't seem to be making any progress in whatever it is, right? And she would offer a prescription. And the prescription was what the woman then meditated with, right? She took it into holding. So we hold where we are with surrender, where we are with acceptance, where we are with desire in its pure sense, not as in, I want this, I want that, which is all fine, by the way, but the pure sense, the desire of the soul to express itself. That's what's really meant by desire here. So surrender, acceptance, desire, and commitment, right? The first 2 being feminine, surrender and surrender and acceptance. The next 2 being masculine, desire and commitment. And we journey with them through ancient songs, through meditation. There is a series of meditations for and practices for each one of those elements. And we go deep, 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 deep into the womb of our own being, so that that true expression of our own power naturally emerges, and we can recognize it as such in and of itself, distinct and unique, simply because it was born from the love of the divine, as it is. That's what we then focus our lives on. And as you know, Michelle, then it goes yet another layer beyond the retreat into the full moon ceremonies, where we continue to work with this wave of consciousness opening from cycle to cycle to cycle with the lunar cycles. And so we have this beautiful emergence of woman in the sacred water, just as she emerges from the womb of her mother, out of the water, into the reflections of the divine within her, and as you pointed out, in community, through her sister's eyes. Through the reflections of the water of Mother Earth, through the reflections of water in space, she begins to see new aspects of who she is and how she reflects her beauty into the world, and how the world reflects that beauty back to her. That's what we'll be doing.
Mm-hmm. So what's it like for women who come to this? So what do they take home with them? How do they feel when they leave?
Oh, that's a great question. We've interviewed quite a few of the women, and I'm always delighted to hear what they say. We've had women end depression. We've had women leave the retreat saying, I've been working on this for years. My sense of helplessness, my hopelessness, my sense of unworthiness, and now I know what to do. I feel it lifting, I feel it leaving. I feel my worthiness, a sense of knowing who they are, a sense of feeling empowered when their loved ones are making choices that they don't understand, right? What do I do? There's a woman's way to be with this. It's not codependence. That's our uninformed way of coping, right? It's not in codependence. There actually is a very powerful way in which we assist others in their decisions that works and does not interfere with their lives, based in sacred feminine practice. So as women, what they're sharing with me is that they really learn what that true and natural empowered self is all about. And it does feel natural. And it does feel accessible. And it does feel doable. So they very quickly start shutting those limited bodies very, very quickly and watch their limitless self emerge.
So there's these practical things that they're taking home with them.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. These are tools you use for the rest of your life. It would be very difficult to go to the retreat and not have it become a part of you, because the experience is usually so profound and so deep. You recognize how this practice is your natural way as a woman. And now it's awakened in you. So now you can begin using it in your life.
Cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Sorry about that. My fussing with my shawl. It keeps falling off my shoulder today. There we go. But I'm here. I'm present. What else?
So we connect with the water, and that's part of why we picked Mount Shasta, right?
Well, tell me about Mount Shasta, because I've spent time there and I love it. But you've really spent a lot of time there. So I know you wanted to see us bring the retreat experience into the energy of Mount Shasta. So tell us about why you chose it.
Well, it chose us too, because Mount Shasta has just had this calling that that the mountain is a very feminine energy. It's an ancient volcano, and it filters the water of the snowmelt down through the volcanic rock, which is very porous, all the way down and into the streams. It's some of the purest water sources on earth. The headwaters of the Sacramento start there in the town. And it's just this beautiful, powerful, healing water. They don't even purify the water that comes out of the tap there.
Oh my.
It's that amazing. And the people won't let them, you know, they want that real water. And,
Yes.
and it's got that feminine energy of the water all throughout. And there's streams and there's waterfalls and there's sacred springs. And so we're going to visit some of those. We're going to go up on top of the mountain to Panther Meadows, which is a sacred place of the Native Americans. We want to really honor that land and be careful of how we walk on that land, but we will connect with the mountain energy there. We will spend some time at the headwaters where the waters come pouring out of the mountain, just gushing out. We will, if we have time, we'll go to this little sacred waterfall. It's it's a really short walk, and the water comes down, and the rocks go behind the waterfall, and we walk back and just feel the water flow on us. And there's a stream right where we're staying. We're going to be staying in these cabins, or a cabin, and there's a stream that flows right in front of it.
The water is such a powerful element of sacred feminine energy. We connect with flow, right, through our bodies, throughout our maturation, and then the shifting of flow from physical flow to spiritual flow as we enter our menopause time into our elderhood. So the water is such a fundamental element. It's why we call it women, water, and spirit, right? Because we are acknowledging our profound relationship to water. Now, as a woman, many of us have deep relationships with the other elements too. It's not to exclude them. It is to honor this one relationship during this period of time. And what's so beautiful about being at a place where Native Americans have continued to bless that space and honor that space in their ancient traditional ways is that we get to go walk in silence with the energy of the land and the spirits of the water, and let them teach us and let them speak to us, and become all the more enriched by being in the presence of such powerful energy. And then the delight of returning to the cabin and the water right there again, to sit, to reflect, to pray, to gather the water from the stream and bring it to the bowl for ceremony, just as ancestors did, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, that they gathered the water from the stream and brought it to ceremony and gathered around the bowl, around the womb, so that the womb itself would be the teacher of her inward journey. So I love that you chose Mount Shasta for all of its elements. And then, of course, you have a volcano, you know, and it's still alive, isn't it?
It's active some,
yeah. So now you have this power of emergence, marvelous energy that we get to tap into, and especially for those of us that have some fire energy in us, that's going to be really sweet to feel it. Feel that emergence. You have a marvelous quote that you had on our website for a while about when sleeping women awake, is that volcanoes explode?
I think that was Ursula, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've got a pretty good quote too about women moving mountains. Can't remember the words.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
I do know we have our own powerful way of awakening.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the beauty of this. It's like, and we have so many ways on our website and through your writing, through some of the courses we offer, that people, and the ceremonies, and in-person ceremonies, teleceremonies, that people can connect with this path.
Yeah.
And the nice thing with the retreat is you get to take it deeper into the experience. You spend like 4 solid days just with these ceremonies. And I know from my own experience how deeply you can take us, Misa, and that, you know, for sometimes people are afraid to go deep, but we go as deep as we're ready to, and you know how to hold space for us. Well, and I know how to hold space, and some of the other keepers that may be there. That space is the sacred container that allows us to go as deep as we need to go. We know we're safe.
Yes. And that is the feminine way.
Yeah.
to be the container of that exploration so that a woman can go deep into her well. And the trust that love is enough, as the grandmothers teach us, that in that love, you will discover yourself. In the safety of that circle, you will see your limits and you will recognize how they no longer serve and they just drift away. And you will see your limitlessness and you will say, oh, that. And in that awareness, you become that potential that longed to be born. And all that is required is that we open to that space that's already inside of us, right? And sink into it and trust. There's so little to do. There's so little to do because it's already inside your DNA. And I know that, and I believe in it, and I trust in it, and I love it.
And it becomes easy.
It becomes easy because there's this welcoming, just like welcoming a new life. And it's like, oh, it's time for me to be born. And it could be a great struggle or it could be a great joy. It could be easy. It won't matter. It's your birth. It's your expression. It's your becoming. And you are being welcomed into this circle of women who adore you and adored you before you came through. That is an amazing experience of rebirth. And we know how to do that as women. There's this doula inside of us, right? She knows how to welcome new life. She knows how to do it. And she goes right there instinctively. There we are, giving birth to ourselves in whatever way it's time, whatever amount or degree. It's perfect. It's just perfect. So we come out of hiding. We come out of our shackles, out of our feelings of unworthiness, out of our feelings of, I'm safe and secure where I am, thank you very much, even if it's uncomfortable. I'm out of all of it because we just don't need it anymore. And what we don't need in the great tradition of the earth just becomes fertilizer for new plants to grow, right? It's just a gift back to Mother Earth. We let go, we begin again. And so each retreat that we've done over the years is an opportunity to go in. And as the grandmother said, an invitation to shed the limited body, to become the limitless self. And as they have also suggested, to become the woman of your choosing. That you are not subjected to outside forces with no power. And nor do you need to rail and fight against them. The sacred feminine way of compassion and space is very powerful. It just needs to be awakened and stimulated in us. And then as we create from a very different kind of power that permeates the space that we are in. And it affects the lives of those we love in a beautiful and wonderful way. So that's our opportunity. That's the invitation, is to discover power in a very different way, a very different expression of it, and to unearth it, you might say, in the way that works best for us as women.
Well, it's going to be exciting to see what we all take away and create from this experience.
Yes, because it becomes very real, by the way. It gets applied in very real ways. When I say ending depression, we mean ending chronic depression. We manifest. I've seen women take elements of this process that we're going to be learning and manifest job opportunities for a loved one. I've seen women heal conditions that they've struggled with for most of their life. Gone. We've seen women manifest new ways in which they are going to express themselves in a career, for example, or money-making opportunities that they are creating for themselves that are in alignment. So it gets expressed in very concrete ways that you can,
Yeah.
experience in your life.
We're really looking forward to meeting you in Mount Shasta. So if this is speaking to you, keep reading the page below, get the details, and sign up early, because this is going to fill up, and we really have a great time with all of you women coming together, bringing your power, because you are unique and we need you, and this path is so good for all of us to awaken to our unique power, our unique way of being women in the world. Thank you.